and gentlemen, move over Rajnikant, Shah Rukh Khan and Allu Arjun. We have some netas who are giving the superstars a run for their money in the political blockbuster scripted in 2024. There was Astha drama, there was betrayal and even comedy which reigned Khata-Khat in the corridors of Rajniti. From Modi powering through with a hat-trick win to Naya Sansad being marred with marpeet, from agencies gunning for chief ministers to CID hunting for samosas, from boycott of Ram Lalla to Tariq pe Tariq over the Waqf bill. We will get you the big hits and misses of 2024, which reminds us that picture abhi baki hai mere dost. First, let's start with the big hits this year. A historic hat-trick for brand Modi tops the list. Astha bhi, Virasat bhi, Vikas bhi sums up the call which consolidated Indians across castes, religion and gender barriers during the general elections. While the BJP didn't exactly hit the mark of 400 par that it had announced earlier, it sailed through the majority mark with the support of pre-election alliance partners Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar. The return of the erstwhile allies to the NDA fold took it to 293, while the India alliance managed to get just 233 in its best performance since 2014. While the BJP won the elections, majority eluded it. The biggest losses came in states of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. But by October, it had managed to wrest back its bastions in Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh by polls and in the assembly elections of Haryana. You can see how the national footprint of the BJP as became visible after these two comeback victories. So, joining me this evening to discuss these hits and misses, to my left, I begin with the lady on the panel, Saba Naqvi, joining me, senior journalist, author, what have you. Saba Naqvi. Also joining me today is political analyst Tehseen Poonawala. Heart beats for Congress, dil mange more, par speed breakers in the middle. Heart beats for India,
yeah.
Not Congress.
India.
Okay.
Yeah, the alliance and the country.
All right. Well, let me introduce our panel on the left, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, who on the right. Yes, very significantly on the right, whether you call it the right ecosystem or you call it just physically to my right, Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Why don't you begin this side also with the lady on the panel?
Well, Abhijit Iyer Mitra also joining me on the show, and Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, friend, colleague for God knows how many decades that we've all covered politics, Saba, myself and Shekhar Iyer. Well, let me first begin with the fact that Modi got the third victory, the third time that he formed government, the hat-trick. Do you think it was a hit for him and for the BJP-led government at the center? Many people have made it sound like it was almost a defeat. No. But the fact is, he's in the top job and he continues to lead from there. So, Saba, how did you see the victory of 2024?
The victory seems underwhelming because the BJP came out with the line that they're going to cross 400. Let's understand that. When you put a context, when you say I'm going to do so brilliantly, then it's underwhelming. But let's be clear. So it was certainly a good time for the opposition as the result came out. We saw what happened in the first gathering in Parliament, Akhilesh Yadav, Rahul Gandhi and also. But at the end of the year, let me just say it right up front, it is quite clear that at this point, we have no one but the BJP, which is going to remain in power. So there was a miss for the PM, but it's been good for the BJP and the RSS because this over-dependence on one image alone actually did not bring the desired results in the general election. They have subsequently got back to that native fighting spirit through every means, both in Haryana and in Maharashtra. So that is how the BJP is always in agitational mode.
through every means, is she underscoring a certain fact there, Anand Ranganathan? And do you think maybe in June, several people wrote off Narendra Modi? Did they play it too soon? And do you think it's better for the BJP and the RSS that they are at 240 today?
It's difficult to say whether it is better or not, but I think Saba is right to the extent that BJP themselves projected 400, which was literally unachievable, except for a few polls that said, well, it might just, go there. It didn't, but at the same time, it's a historic third term for Narendra Modi. Remember, 10 years of anti-incumbency when UPA faced, they landed up with 50 odd seats. So after 10 years of anti-incumbency, Modi can manage 240. It's a spectacular victory. Having said that, moving forward, I think it augurs good for the country, but I would say a lot of toughest decisions that could have been made in the first 10 years, especially on Hindu rights, now possibly will go to the back burner, which is disappointing for me, because I think one wants to look for equality amongst all people of this country. And the opposition will purposely, as is the case in Sambal, they'll rake up Hindu Muslim all the time and, put the bogey on the BJP as if BJP is responsible. So that kind of morass, and we've seen about Dr. Ambedkar, how absolutely bizarre curtailing of a clip has led to now protests and people being seriously injured as well in many areas of the country. So opposition needlessly pricks on something, picks up an issue, moves along, but the Modi bandwagon is going sure and strong.
Well, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, again I come back to the point that Saba made. They tried every trick in the trade to win the two elections of Haryana and Maharashtra and other states at that time. Do you really think that was because the BJP was down and out and wanted to win at any price? And then where Anand Ranganathan says that the opposition picks up, is this a sharper opposition, or is this an opposition that has tried and tested the formula of a false narrative, seen successes there, and probably trying it all over again?
It's the last gasp, the black swan event of a flailing opposition. They're loud doesn't translate into effective, let's remember that. The problem has been one thing consistent, has been, bad post facto postmortems done on elections. In 2004, everybody says it was because of India Shining. It had nothing to do with India Shining. It had to do with the fact that the RSS sat out the election. In 2024, the same thing happened again. On the request of the BJP, the RSS sat out the election. What changed in Haryana and Maharashtra was the fact that the RSS was, they were begged literally, Shashtang Pranam for them to come back into it, right? And from there that basically one RSS worker is worth about 50 BJP workers. Let's be very clear about it. Okay? Second, notice that in the general election, it was a victory that felt like a defeat. And it was a defeat for Indy which felt like a victory. But again, bad postmortems. In the general election, the pollsters got the percentages right, they got the numbers wrong. In the Maharashtra and Haryana elections, they got both the percentages wrong and the numbers wrong. So if anything, we've either become static with our analysis or we're going down with our analysis, and I don't know why that is. The third part is, I would generally agree with Saba that the BJP has probably got its game together. Generally, it's that thing when you're over 272, you're the fat cat, you don't need to worry. But here you're the young lion that needs to, defeat the, Lion King to defeat what Mufasa or Scar or whatever it is, kind of dynamic. But notice, even here, they're fairly incompetent. Clip curtailing, remember it was the clip curtailing of this constitutional reforms and things that cost them a lot of SC, ST, OBC votes in the general elections. There was clip curtailing done this time. They've finally woken up to it now, right? And they've gone on a counter-offensive. I don't know if this beating up of the Sarangi gentleman and the other person is tamasha real. I haven't seen the original video.
Nobody's seen the original video because the exact moment doesn't exist on camera that we've seen.
But they've finally given pushback, a solid pushback on something, a multi-spectral pushback. Before it used to be one spokesperson would do a good job, or one minister would do a good job, the rest would be like Baba Black Sheep. No, this time they're doing it well. So partially agree with Saba.
Well, so let me ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, is this the last gasp, very, very desperate attempt, as Anand Ranganathan says, that the opposition is going through? The fact is that Omar Abdullah has won Jammu and Kashmir. The fact is that, you know, in Jharkhand, people have, the India Alliance has won. The big issue here is that the Congress is nowhere to be seen. The Congress is lower than Uddhav Thackeray in Maharashtra, total cropper. The Congress has lost out in Haryana. The Congress has been decimated in Jammu and Kashmir. In Jharkhand, they are non-existent. But attitude itna hai ke boss, they own the world. That's the swag. Is that helping?
If I may just add, the issues that Congress picked up, their own alliance partners are criticizing. For example, Adani and EVMs.
If I were to speak as not as a Congress supporter or voter, which I am, but as a political analyst, which in capacity all of us are, the Congress is in a much more difficult position than it was in 2014. That's the first analysis, if you're very honest with it. And I agree with you, Doctor. Some of the issues that the opposition picked up, this parliament session in particular, the government could have been on the mat, and it could be 1, 2, 3, a countdown. Navika, with respect to you, Saba and Sir, you all don't know what is Plan B in Bangladesh. The government hasn't told us. You have an NGO running Bangladesh. And for the viewers, when NGOs take over, see what happens. Bangladesh is being run by an NGO. Syria, we have investments there. We have Indians in that area. We don't have a Plan B in Syria. We should have had the government on the mat on geopolitics. We should have had the government, RBI. How many times has the RBI changed the economic forecast of the country? Jobs, popcorn, ek nation, ek popcorn. The government was clueless on it. These are the issues of the nation. What were we fighting on? The industrialists. They were obviously getting in George Soros. Now, the problem in equating the two is it's an unequal comparison. Because when there is no discussion and the government gets away, the government is let off. But the opposition should not allow the government to get off. So that, I think, became a problem. I think the second problem in the India Alliance, and you rightly pointed this out, is the India Alliance, in my opinion today, no longer exists as it should be, because every particular political party wants their leader to lead it, whether it's Akhilesh Yadav ji's supporters, whether it's Mamta ji who wants to lead it, etc. Then where is the structure? And unless you don't have a formal structure where there's a communication department that reaches out to Navika, that reaches out to Shekhar sir, that reaches out to Saba, saying this is what we intend to do, this is how we take to issue, go forward, a common minimum program, a common minimum vision for the country, how will people have the change that they need to bring in? So I think the Congress needs to look at that. The third issue, I think, where the Congress got it horribly wrong is, after 2024 local Lok Sabha elections, I think in Haryana, the polarization that happened, number two, the counter-polarization, not due to the Congress, that happened in Maharashtra. And your viewers need to understand, Hindutva by itself cannot make the BJP win. BJP's polarization cannot make the BJP win. It was more in Jharkhand, they lost. It is when there's counter-polarization, when you run to Maulanas who encourage the Taliban, when you go to Maulanas who own Ghazwa Hind, when there's counter-polarization, that completely backfires. So I think these are the narratives that the opposition needs to look, but more importantly, raise issues that are substantial to the country.
Maybe I should move his chair
No,
to
no, no,
this side.
I'm against
maybe
it.
I should just move
No,
his
you
chair
see-
to
no, you see, when we
this
raise-
side, because today Tehseen Poonawalla is seeing more problems with the Congress than even the right side.
I want my country to progress. See, when we all raise the issue of one nation, one popcorn, sorry, when we all raise the issue of one nation, one popcorn, the finance minister gave in. So ultimately, if it's so silly as this finance ministry, which it is, different popcorn rates, you have to attack it on the issue, and the government will go on a back foot. Why are we raising the issue of the industrial?
Well, those rates always existed. Just because she explained it, she got panned for it, and you know that's called one of those bad moments.
Tires and cars are 28%. Cars are 18%.
We can go back to the UPA era and talk about many such bloopers. Maybe meme factories and social media weren't so active at that time. But Shekhar Iyer, you know, from the hat trick of brand Modi, I also want to go down to the fact that despite the fact that there was a Ram Mandir, despite the fact that he says Hindutva alone does not work, the counter polarization, do you think the India alliance was coordinating, communicating better amongst themselves? And I look at the issue of the Ram Mandir, the Pran Pratishtha. None of the India party, India alliance factions went for that Pran Pratishtha. Did it take away from the holiness, the Astha factor? Did it make it more an event than just, faith? What really happened over there? And do you think this counter polarization actually worked because they played to a plan? That plan worked that once and didn't work again. What are the factors?
Well, I think on the Ram Mandir issue, BJP did what it is just good at doing it. But where the big mistake the Congress has made and continues to make, the problem with the Congress, I repeat, is not Rahul Gandhi. It is the issues they choose. Why have they left the centrist space? Yeah. In the best of time, Congress was always a centrist party. Okay. And the 10 years of UPA, they moved from left to, they took a radical left position. And all this NAC business finally hurt them. Today, any sector, particularly a growing sector, doesn't believe in Rahul Gandhi. The more you take up this Adani issue, more you sound like a radical left group. So who is willing to trust you? That is the problem, which they have not recognized yet at the family level. They still think Rahul is doing right and Priyanka is there to back him, and the mother thinks the son is great. That's not going to get them anywhere. Great. And if you keep, and I'll tell you, the regional parties are smarter. Take Sharad Pawar, or even his daughter Supriya Sule, even she's beginning to see that EVMs are working.
Yeah, and she's won 4 elections through them.
Or Thackeray, or M.K. Stalin, or Siddaramaiah,
Akhilesh Yadav,
you take all these leaders.
Mamata Banerjee.
See, I mean, the whole problem is, see, you already have a core vote. You don't need to convince that vote. What about the rest? Why is it on, I'm asking a simple question. If Priyanka was ready with 2 bags, one on Palestine and one on Bangladesh Hindus and minorities, why did she carry the Bangladesh bag first? BJP would have been zapped. I mean, they wouldn't know what to say. But obviously, both the bags were ready. She expected if the Palestinian bag was taken, the question would come, why have we left out the minority bashing in Bangladesh? So she was ready with the next bag. I said, if somebody had asked you to reverse it, if you had come with the Bangladesh bag, obviously there would have been trolls who would have said, you have forgotten Gaza. But that was your moment. So there are several moments I feel Rahul Gandhi, under Rahul Gandhi's leadership, despite inner counsel and wisdom, which is inherent in a party that has ruled for so many years.
The inner counsel was given to him?
No, these days those councils are failing to even articulate.
Can I make just one statement? Just to add just one statement. You know, Priyanka ji's speech in Parliament was really good. It was a really good speech considering the Gandhi. Which one are you thinking about?
Chaturvedi also.
She's much better.
I'm sure she gave a good
Very
speech.
good friend of yours.
Yeah. So, I'm sure she gave, but sorry. It was a very good speech. But you see that day what happened? Allu Arjun got arrested. And by the time I reached another channel to speak on Priyanka's speech, the trend number 1 to trend number 20 in all channels had moved to Allu Arjun individuals. So you see, sometimes the Congress needs to, as Sir rightly said, calm down and think what is happening. Is your news your tallest leader or your second tallest leader who spoke very well in Parliament, and the way she laughed, put the government on the dock, or is it? I'm not putting conspiracies here. I'm saying sometimes you just need common sense, which, as he said, he didn't say so subtly, is not so common.
Well, but the point that he makes, the second tallest leader, I just want to ask you, Kharge matters or doesn't matter in the scheme of things? No. It's a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. But let me come back to the major question over here. You're saying centrist party, and I take off from there. In the centrist party position that the Congress always had is not just the economic part. There's also the other part, the vote bank part. Why does the Congress, and is the Congress making the mistake of only going the minority way and completely antagonizing the large section of the Hindu population and, that it can actually get in by not going to the Pran Pratishtha, by not carrying the Bangladesh bag first, carrying the Palestine? What do you think?
So, first of all, I think it's a lovely discussion for a great measure also, because for the first time we have three people of Iyer heritage side by side. So, great points being made there.
Are you of Iyer heritage?
Of course, yeah, my father's.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
He's not Iyengar.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but sorry, to come back to this fantastic point made by Shekharji, but to which, it needs to be analyzed. What he says is absolutely true. But I think the reason why Congress has ceded that space is because that space has been taken over lock, stock and barrel by the BJP. Enough of this wrong propaganda malignment that it is right. BJP is centrist. All of major Congress policies that the Congress promised, the BJP has fulfilled. I don't even want to go to the farm laws, to GST, to CAA, to 370. All those were promised by the Congress. And each one of those have
370 nahi.
370 in 1960s, Congress almost actually abolished it. CAA, they passed a resolution saying that Bangladeshi minorities should be given citizenship. We know about farm laws, they were there verbatim in Congress manifesto. So many other things. The point I'm making is that economically, BJP is centrist. In terms of working for the minorities, no other prime minister in living memory has done as much for Muslims as Manmohan Singh. All the schemes, everything, there's been no discrimination whatsoever. Has done more than, yes, Narendra Modi, I meant Narendra Modi, yes. So when the BJP takes over that space that was erstwhile belonging to the Congress, what does the Congress do? It cannot become right wing, it cannot take BJP space, so it moves towards the left.
But
and I think
Look, the Congress is being led by Rahul, and now we have a dimension of Priyanka in there. So eventually, we don't know. Right now, brother and sister are very close. As long as Rahul and Priyanka appear to win, that party will continue the way it does. It's not they're hungry to win the nation. It had the nation. There is that difference in temperament. Let's please understand that. You've got Siddharamaiah here. Perhaps he'll fight a battle. Somebody will fight a battle. The leadership out there of the Congress are dynasts with a very evolved lineage, okay? And I don't think the idea of victory is because we saw while the Maharashtra election was going on, Rahul kept visiting Wayanad. I mean, I'm just saying it with a straight face. It is Rahul Gandhi's choice.
Why is it so difficult?
Because there are many people who have brothers and sisters in the nation. You know, it's not just one lot. I'm saying it. I mean, it was pretty shocking to me that you are seeing a significant election here for which many decisions are not being taken. It just seemed inefficient. I'm just saying it to you completely. And you are having this focus on the margin of victory in Wayanad, you know. So I disagree entirely whether Adani is the right issue for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress to keep raising. That is debatable, but I don't think that's a non-issue, and raising it makes one a jholawala.
We have a new parliament building. But what's happening in the new parliament building, I think the nadir has reached, or is there somewhere lower to go? I don't know, Shekhar. I mean, in all our careers of 3 decades of covering the parliament, we've not seen something like this happening, and every session being a washout. I remember a few sessions during Sukhram's time when the telecom scam happened, a few when the 2G scam happened. You know, some sessions were washed out. Now it's almost a given every session will be a washout. Apart from that, if you look at the Congress, wherever it has won, is it being able to run those governments, their promises, their credibility is at a low. Within the India alliance, and that's where I want to come in, because when you talk about the elections in 2025, you think anybody is interested in suffering the Congress party as a leader, as a decision maker? They don't talk to anybody. They don't take anybody on board. Their leaders make statements. You're already seeing a fracas happening right here in New Delhi because Aam Aadmi Party is extremely upset with the Congress party. Shekhar Iyer, where do you think this is going? The misses of the Congress party, also even out with the misses of the BJP, because Waqf, the digging, what is their stand on it? Mohan Bhagwat says something, others say something else. These are some of the misses. One nation, one election. To bring it in and then send it to a JPC, what's the thought process? What's the agenda ahead? Aren't these misses for the BJP as well?
Definitely. Say that don't underplay yourself. If you expose the Augusta scam that led to almost 20 days of Parliament being, everyone rushing to the well. So
I had a role to play in the Commonwealth Games scam as well, and a lot to play in the Antariksh Devas deal as well. But be that as it may, Shekhar.
Yeah, you see, there are three things which this government has to seriously work on. One is to get the census going.
Big time.
And before you, after you start the census, then you will have to take a big call, which everybody is asking you to do. There is pressure with it also.
Caste.
Which is caste element. That is one. Second thing is, after that is the another mega exercise called delimitation.
Yes.
That is, and you will have to come with some formula. A formula that
South versus
North, population, incentive, disincentive and all that. The third thing is, after all this is done, you have to incorporate the women's quota. Now, these three things are going to decide your next Lok Sabha elections. Now, in this is this one nation, one poll. Now, they haven't set a deadline, though Ramnath Kovind committee indicated it could be 2029. Now, this could again, because they're building on all this. So there are a lot of things there, but I think in the Prime Minister minds, the priority is economy. With Trump in White House in US, Prime Minister Modi's focuses on economy because he has this 5 trillion economy deadline and target. And
by 2027.
At least in the next couple of years, when because already there are indications that there's slowdown again.
Correct.
And we did not even analyze the situation of the economy of Europe.
Yeah.
Because Trump, whether he talks of Greenland, he talks of Panama Canal, he has that thing in mind. What will get me business, or even a ceasefire in Ukraine? Sure. They got American bonds dropped there. Now they will get American companies to rebuild Ukraine. Their agenda is clear. So Prime Minister worry, from what I gather from various sources, is the economy has to get going now. It has to fire on all cylinders. Because next election cannot be won just on the basis of goodies. Now, here comes the RSS Chalak Mohan Bhagwat statement. And I have reasons to believe it reflects the Prime Minister's concern about the economy, and he's worried this kind of thing will take away the
digging up everything.
You mean the digging
completely.
Yes. The digging statement.
Yeah, all this, and he hasn't said it first. When the Ayodhya judgment, he said, don't celebrate it. Yeah. Number two, which is again reflection of what Prime Minister has in mind.
So are you saying they are on the same track despite that 2024 elections happened the way they happened?
I think much has been made about whether RSS cooperated or not cooperated. You tell me a situation. Can RSS be well off if BJP loses any election?
Yeah, but I found it myself. I on the ground, I went to Meerut. RSS has UP is divided into 4 RSS bases. I would go to those things. It has 4. Every state has 1. Where the BJP Karyalaya has RSS people manning it. It has 4. The RSS guys were definitely sulking and they were out of the game.
No, they may be sulking, Saba.
In the Lok Sabha.
I'll tell you if...
No, but they're there now.
You think RSS is not aware if a full government comes here headed by Rahul Gandhi, they'll ban RSS the first time.
I don't disagree with you.
The first decision will be they'll ban RSS.
Okay, so it's also to their advantage that they fall in line with the BJP.
No, you see, that relationship, I'll tell you, Navika, because I have closely followed BJP and RSS. So many things are said, but they can't leave each other. And they are in each other. And the biggest siblings. And don't forget, Modi and Mohan Bhagwat are, co-travelers. They both were Swayam Sevaks. And let's not get this, too much is being made. And so much is being said which does not reflect the actual nature of relationship.
So very important. I'll pick up from where Shekhar left off and let me come to the point of the economy. Yeah. And Abhijit Iyer Mitra, if the economy is the big agenda for 2025 and there onwards, then clearly this digging business is not going to help because it just takes away from the business environment and the way foreign investors would be looking at India. Do you agree with that point? And therefore, do you think the Prime Minister would have a roadmap in mind?
No, I don't think the digging affects the economy at all. I oppose the digging for other reasons, but I don't think it has any economic impact. You see, what are investors looking at? First, how qualified is your workforce? What is the minimum amount of effort we have to put on it? What is your regulatory environment? Okay, all of this nonsense with popcorn could have been, you just pass blanket GST laws, anything sold in the open without a packet. Why just popcorn? Everything sold in the open. वो मूरी, वो झाल मूरी, puffed rice, pori, I don't know what it is.
Jhal muri, makhana,
Whatever,
anything.
is 5%. The same thing sold in packaging, branded packaging is 12% or whatever it is. And anything with sugar added to it, because you want a health aspect to it, is 18%. Bas, isme chhod do. Why are you legislating every single thing into this kind of micro detail? Because we know in the past that it is exactly this kind of micro detail that has maximized corruption and led to a rentier state where every babu, if a builder has to go, he has to comply with the building code, and then there is a separate fire code. And the fire, one second, the fire and the building will never make it because this guy wants to stop your building project so that he can take money. You have to understand we have a capricious, rapine bureaucracy at every single level that is rent seeking, that has zero accountability. They are the ones who are stopping your economic growth, other than the fact that you're a third world country. Now, third world country is not
We are
poor
not
people.
third world.
We are third world. It's not poor people on the street. It's low human capacity with low human policy making. Nobody, when the foreign minister...
I don't quite agree. I don't quite agree with you. You know, India's come a long way from the times that it was the third...
long way doesn't matter, Navika. You know, even this...
we are no longer a third world country. I refuse. Look at the number, look at the vehicle sales, look at the development indices. I do not agree with you that we are a third world country.
Is a third world country.
Okay. Yes, that's because it's just that our population is humongous.
Doesn't matter.
$3,000 is third world.
What I do want to say, I do agree with some of the points. Our economy is in doldrums, and the longer the laws you have, the easier it is for bureaucrats to become extortionists. And
I'm sorry.
No, please allow me. Please allow me.
But I'm sorry, I just want to make a small observation.
Sure.
The laws are shorter than what the NAC dictated.
There are, one second, just come in. No. There is today, our nation is facing tax terrorism. Entrepreneurs are being attacked by every side. And I'm saying this even by the BJP. The minute the BJP was in trouble, the Honorable Prime Minister attacked the two industrialists. That's one. Number two, I disagree with you on the GST rates. You should have two GST rates, 5% and 12%. Roti, kapda, makan 5, everything else 12. 18% should be a maximum ceiling with permission of Parliament.
I want to come in on one big thing right now. In 2025, and I'm talking about the early part of 2025, January, February, before the budget session, I think there will be a cabinet expansion. Do you agree?
I have no information. Navika, you're much better poised than me to have this.
No, I'm just saying there are some telltale signs. There was an NDA meeting that just happened. The fact is Maharashtra has been won. Eknath Shinde and company have to come into the cabinet. Also Ajit Pawar, who stood on this side while there was dithering happening. And Praful Patel needs to get into the cabinet. Do you think Sankranti ke baad auspicious period?
There was one thing which I noted, Navika, that even the visual image of an NDA meeting where it was being promoted reminded, it was a deja vu moment for me. Because Atal Bihari Vajpayee,
yes, 23 of those parties.
That did not happen for the decade, the first two terms of Narendra Modi. So that's, to get back to my original point, the bringing down of the BJP numbers has actually led to them going back to some of the things which brought them where they are. Allies, the cadre working in a very coordinated method, not depending on Modi alone. Bringing down the dependence in state elections on him. In Haryana, he didn't campaign much. Even in Maharashtra also, he didn't. But, so all of this, so the BJP has got its, and to his point about Hindutva, is an element, but it can never be the full thing. I get that. But I want to pick up on one point, because everybody's talking about economy and investment and what is a good climate. The challenge for a popularly elected government, which this government is very conscious of, is going to be how do you keep the mass of people for whom employment is an issue, how do you keep them? So I think one of the templates which we are walking away with in 2024 is going to be direct cash transfers. You're going to just have that every
Freebies.
election.
Freebies.
I will call it direct transfer.
All
That
right.
is being
Before
consolidated
I come
now.
to you, Shekhar, cabinet expansion on the annual, would you think?
Definitely, because the government
When?
does need to refurbish its image. The non-performing ministers will have to make way for younger
6
people.
महीने में what performance?
नहीं 6 महीने की बात नहीं है. Whatever is there, you know, somewhere along the kind of results that the Prime Minister had expected from his colleagues is not happening. So therefore, I think there are particularly ministries which need to perform on the ground and seem to be performed.
You want to name some? Do you have some inside dope? Fly on the wall?
No, I don't want to, but there are areas which are, you know, which are directly connected to people, to youth, like for instance, higher education.
What about railways?
No, there are several ways. I mean, yeah, and then some ministries are overburdened. And some ministers are overburdened, and also the Prime Minister also may, you know, reshuffle his team, the Secretariat, which is helping him.
After the governor's reshuffle, that becomes, yes, Anand.
I'll tell you why it's difficult to predict this, because Modi works exactly in a way that is opposite of what any world leader would like to work. He reshuffles after a success, not after a failure. Everyone expected a cabinet reshuffle or additions after the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, you know. That was a time when people said, look, this hasn't worked. And there was absolutely nothing. Right now, so you might be right. Based on successes, he might add a few and subtract a few, but he doesn't, he works on his own line, so it's difficult to predict that.
But let me also ask you on the polls, and we'll do a quick round on this. There are polls in Delhi, Bihar, and then after that Bengal that are coming up. Delhi, can I get this thing? How many people think that the Aam Aadmi Party is going to come back, and how many people think that the BJP has a chance? Kejriwal's coming back.
I think it's pretty. You can't tell. I don't even know who the BJP candidate is.
That doesn't matter, but general sense.
Can I just say, as the election panoti, मैं विश्वास करता हूं कि यशस्वी श्री जेपी नड्डा जी के नेतृत्व में भाजपा की भारी बहुमत से विजय होने वाली है दिल्ली के इलेक्शन में. Election panoti prediction.
You're sounding like Duggal sir.
Well, anyway, you said Kejriwal is winning before that. Would you stake your...
Sarcastic, yaar.
You're being sarcastic.
All my predictions go wrong.
What about you, Shekhar?
That's why I said Duggal
No,
sir.
see, why people feel Kejriwal will win, because there is a good voter, I mean, core strength here. Yes. That is there. But I would expect that for every election we have seen since 2015, he has been losing numbers. So this time he could lose heavily, which could lead to a situation where there could be a post-poll drama.
No, you know, but I
Okay, post-poll drama, some excitement coming up in the month of January or February. Well, oh my God, I hope it's not raining and it's not so cold in Delhi at that time. But Bihar,
Quickly, Delhi, quickly, just one point. You know, of the 70 odd seats in Delhi, the BJP really only contests in 50. And to get a majority, they have to win 35 of those 50. 17 seats, which are the OBC, SC, ST seats, are heavily JNUI. So what works in the rest of the country, because there's an urban landscape, does not work here. 7 seats are minority seats with the BJP writes off. So they always aim for 35 out of 50. This election, what they're doing is, if you remember last time and the time before that, the Congress only got 5% or less of the vote. This time, they are stiffening the spine of the Congress to make it a Trikona contest.
well, they're hoping the Congress actually gets 10 to 12% for the BJP to be in the game. Will it happen? I don't know. Is that why Arvind Kejriwal is so irritated with the Congress party and saying we don't want them in the India alliance? I can only say, if I can just sum this up, the hits for the BJP were the hat-trick for Brand Modi, a Naya Kashmir, where elections were held after Article 370, great statement to be made, the Pran Pratishtha, the Ram Mandir, the entire route has been covered. By February, the entire mandir is going to be ready. Also, One Nation, One Election, a big hit. And this great thing about Sabka Saath in the policies that the Prime Minister has demonstrated, and now the Sarsang Chalak's statement coming in, will that get them back to the centrist position that we've debated? On the misses, we'll say Naya Sansad, but not too much Naya happening there. The Khata-Khat model really needs to be rethought by everybody. The Raid Raj, the Enforcement Directorate, CBI kind of thing, people are fed up of. Waqf, we'll have to wait and watch whether there are any corrections and whether that bill comes in sooner than the ONOP. And, you know, our agenda for 2025 seems to be all set. Coalition dharma, therefore, a cabinet expansion, probably in the first thing that we see in 2025 after the 14th of January, Sankranti ke baad, after Iyer Sahab, you will, hai na, auspicious period to...
Coalition dharma for NDA, coalition falling apart for India. That's it.
Alliance.
Alliance, yeah.
India
will
Alliance.
always be an
Okay,
Yeah,
the
but
I.N.
One point that Saba made is very interesting
Yeah,
because she said Congress has got no elections to win logically and rationally in 2025. So what is it going to do? I think it's going to come onto the street. So it doesn't augur very well for our democracy.
Yes, well, he's worried about the NGOs in Bangladesh. Maybe he should worry about something in India
And
too.
Navika, don't forget the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj.
Absolutely, statement by Yogi.
That will be Yogi Ji's
No, but then,
Well,
this digging
So we
Yogi
have the
continues
cabinet
digging.
expansion coming up. We have elections in Delhi coming up. We have our economic path that we need to follow to get to a 5 trillion economy. And of course, what will we do with President Trump? All eyes on that starting 20th of January. Well, those are some of the items that we can look forward to and some analysis on what we saw this year, that time, that year, this time. It carries on. It is Kal Chakra which keeps moving on.
Looking younger and younger every
Into the
year.
astrology predictions.
Well,
Stop looking younger and younger every year. It's ridiculous.
Anand Ranganathan, you sure know how to flatter, and flattery will get you everywhere, even in 2025. Let's end at that. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me.
ज्योतिष को बुलाना था प्रोग्राम पे
तुम हो ना पनौती ज्योतिष. Well, with that, thank you very much, lady and gentlemen, for joining me on this very special session of the News Hour.